What are you... I mean, it's almost midnight.
See, I want to be with you. Happy New Year, Petey.
Yes. Accept the gift the Parker rejected. Yes. And together, we will have our desire. Yes. We will have vengeance on Spider-Man!
Happy New Year, Spidey Squad! But anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans and Merry Marvelites, to another very exciting Marvel games related video, which is going to be my first official video kicking off this year of 2023. And if this year of 2023 might mean anything to you as either a Marvel fan or a diehard Spidey fan, there is quite a small game that is coming out later in the fall of this year, which you may or may not know about, called Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And while last year of 2022 might have been a bit uneventful in regards to receiving any type of major information pertaining to Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Games themselves has remained fully confident that the game will indeed be launching this year in 2023 with no current delays in sight. So hopefully we will start to receive some official news updates relating to the game from Insomniac, Marvel, and PlayStation relatively soon, which will most likely be in the form of an official Sony PlayStation showcase. But alongside of this head honcho of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 pretty much taking the charge when it comes to any other massive Marvel game that will be releasing in the near future, we do know that there are indeed quite a lot of other AAA Marvel games that are currently in development that we do officially know about. So for this video, I'm pretty much going to be breaking down all the massive AAA Marvel games that we can expect to release this year, as well as what other games we are aware of that we will probably receive updates for in the coming months. And to reiterate, I'm mainly going to highlight all the massive AAA console and or PC releases pertaining to these Marvel gaming properties, instead of any of the smaller scope titles like that of the mobile games or anything relating to VR. And for starters, we're actually going to kick things off in a chronological order with a recently released Marvel game that is going to be receiving some brand new DLC throughout this whole year of 2023. And shockingly, this game turned out to be one of my all-time favorites within 2022, and is an absolute sleeper hit of a Marvel game that I highly recommend that you check out if you haven't already. And in this case, I am talking about Marvel's Midnight Suns, where even though the game already released last month in December of 2022, we are currently expecting a brand new cast of characters to be joining the Midnight Suns roster within the game's season pass. And in case you don't know already, these characters include Deadpool, Storm, Morbius, and Venom. Now, I know a lot of people might at first glance be a bit off-put by the overall card and tactics aesthetic that Marvel's Midnight Suns is full of. But coming from me personally as a diehard fan of games like Persona and even the older Ultimate Alliance games, Midnight Suns was everything that I already expected it to be, and it pretty much delivered in every way I could have possibly hoped for. Once you start getting into the nitty-gritty of the game's combat system, it really starts to become truly addictive. And top all that off with some Persona-style relationship building with all these Marvel characters, as well as a very engaging Marvel story, which does highlight a lot of very underrated Marvel characters like Nico Minoru, Magic, Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, and even showcasing more well-known characters in brand new ways like Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain Marvel, then this has sincerely become one of my all-time favorite Marvel games ever made. And to clarify, the season pass for Marvel's Midnight Suns is not only going to be featuring those 4 previously mentioned characters, but it will be featuring brand new missions, new enemy types, new costumes, and more. So if you are someone who has been thoroughly enjoying Marvel's Midnight Suns like me, then you'll definitely want to keep your eyes out for when the season pass drops, where the first character that we'll be releasing is Deadpool sometime in the month of February. And for me personally, knowing that Nolan North is going to be voicing Deadpool himself within the game, I for one couldn't be even more hyped than I already am.
The hell is a Moon Knight?
So next off, as I already mentioned, is in fact Marvel's Spider-Man 2, where even though we don't have any major news relating to the game as of right now, we do know that without a doubt it is planning to release this fall of 2023, where if I had to guess a specific month, I would think sometime in the middle of October. Considering that Spider-Man PS4 originally released on September 7th of 2018, and Miles Morales did release on the PS4 and PS5 on November 12th of 2020, I definitely think that sometime in the middle of October would make a very generous release date. And again, the next time I do believe we will hear more about the game is within a PlayStation showcase, where if I had to guess, I would speculate the month of February, considering that Insomniac Games is still on their holiday break within January, and we do know that the PlayStation VR 2 is going to be releasing in the month of February as well. So holding a brand new PlayStation showcase to coincide with the VR 2's release would certainly help its marketing overall, and would be a great time to highlight all of the brand new first-party titles that we can expect to release on the PS5 exclusively. And speaking of PS5 exclusives, this also directly relates to the other AAA Marvel game that Insomniac Games is working on, none other than Marvel's Wolverine, where it's pretty safe to say at this point that Wolverine PS5 is one of, if not the biggest PS5 exclusives coming in the distant horizon. And I do say distant right now because we currently don't know when Marvel's Wolverine is set to launch, although we do know that it is likely coming after Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And while the wait might be a brutal one for this game, I'm personally expecting a 2025 release date at the absolute earliest. Now, even though I do thoroughly enjoy Wolverine's inclusion within another Marvel game like Marvel's Midnight Suns, we haven't yet received a completely standalone AAA Wolverine game on the same level of quality of that of the X-Men Origins movie tie-in game ever since that game launched all the way back in 2009. And as a bit of a fun fact, the overall team that is currently developing Marvel's Wolverine is the same exact team that developed Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, where the creative director of Marvel's Wolverine is none other than Brian Horton, and the primary game director for this project is Cameron Christian. So logically, we are currently expecting a fantastically fast-paced action game with appropriately brutal combat that will fully showcase Wolverine at his peak. And fortunately for us, Insomniac have already gone on record saying that Wolverine is going to be a much more darker themed game compared to that of Spider-Man, pretty much hinting at an M rating, and also heavily teasing the aspect of gore to be featured in the game's combat system, indicating things like slashes, gashes, gouges, dismemberment, and so on. And considering how masterful of a job Insomniac already did with Spider-Man PS4 and Miles Morales, I have no doubt in my mind that Wolverine PS5 is going to be just as, if not more, amazing. Now, moving on to the second to last AAA Marvel game that I do have on my list is one that I'm actually personally a bit hesitant towards, where even though I am thoroughly in love with the main creative heads behind this project, I am a bit biased and upset that this didn't turn out to be a fully AAA Fantastic Four game, and the direction that these developers seem to be going with this project does have me a bit questionable to say the least. However, the developers leading the charge here are nothing if not ambitious, and in this case I am talking about the Skydance new media Marvel game, which is currently untitled but will be featuring Captain America and Black Panther in World War II. Where to summarize exactly what's going on here is that Skydance New Media is developing a narrative-driven action-adventure, third-person, single-player Marvel game with none other than Uncharted creator Amy Hennig leading the charge of this project. Now, while there is still a lot of information that is unknown about this game, we do know that it will center around an ensemble of heroes that will all be playable within a World War II setting. So in this case, we will be playing as Steve Rogers in his early years of his career as Captain America, Gabriel Jones, who is a member of the Howling Commandos, Nanali, who is the leader of the Wakandan spy network, and the one and only Black Panther. But in this case, we're actually going to be playing as T'Challa's grandfather of Azuri. Based on the type of games that Amy Hennig is known for, I would put a safe bet down right now saying that this is likely going to be a linear level-based action-adventure game, similar to what we already experienced with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. But the difference here is that the only playable character in Guardians was Star-Lord himself, where in this case, we have 4 separate characters to play with, and 2 of them don't even have superpowers. And I did make a video about this, so be sure to check it out if you haven't already, but Amy Hennig actually had another interview about this game where she pretty much stated that she was looking at some other games for inspiration when making this title from none other than the studio of Quantic Dream, who you might know who made games like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human. Now, I'm personally a major fan of all of Quantic Dream's games, so I definitely think that this is going to be a massive appeal for a gaming fan like me. But I do know that some of those games might be a bit divisive amongst the gaming community, so this approach for characters like Captain America and Black Panther might be a bit different than what the majority of gamers are wanting from this experience. But regardless, I definitely think that there will be a lot to enjoy here, especially seeing that two major Marvel characters are teaming up to star in their own AAA game, instead of a massive team ensemble like that of the Avengers, Guardians, Midnight Suns, Fantastic Four, or so on. Still, I will just have to wait and see to learn more about this game before I can get fully hyped for it. But luckily, the same logic does not apply when it comes to the final Marvel game on my list, which I for one cannot wait to hear more about. Because lastly, I am talking about the brand new Iron Man game, which is currently in development by Motive Studios, who you may know have released the previously launched Star Wars Squadrons, as well as the upcoming Dead Space remake. Now, funny enough, I know a lot of people might be more hesitant towards this Iron Man game in comparison to the Captain America and Black Panther game, considering that the publisher behind this project is none other than Electronic Arts. But you have to keep in mind that the main developers behind the project is Motive themselves, and EA are merely funding this property. Plus, they seem to understand that the single-player action-adventure formula is the way that works the best, considering all the success that they have seen with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Survivor. But furthermore, we do know that EA has gone on to partner up with Marvel Games directly to create at least 3 more Marvel games after Iron Man launches, where this is merely the start of a brand new Marvel Games partnership. And considering that EA and Motive went to such lengths to fully announce that Iron Man is going to be a brand new single-player, third-person, action-adventure, narrative-driven Marvel game front and center, and that one of the main executive producers behind the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game of Olivier Proux is one of the main developers behind this project, this is without a doubt going to mark a brand new era for AAA Marvel games. And Motive themselves went on to promise that the game will feature an original narrative that fully taps into the rich history of the Invincible Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark, and enabling players to feel what it's truly like to play as the Armored Avenger. Everything that Motive has stated about this Iron Man game so far has gotten me hyped beyond belief. However, I do think it might be quite a while until we hear more official details about this game. But alongside Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine, this Iron Man game developed by Motive is easily one of the most anticipated superhero games on my list. And I for one just can't wait to see what's in store for all these sensational projects in the future. But with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Besides Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which AAA Marvel game are you currently looking forward to the most? And on the flip side, do any of these Marvel games on this list do have you a bit skeptical towards how the final product will turn out? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel games videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Here's to an absolutely amazing 2023, and without further ado, peace out.